house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes, the house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house.
I've been practicing this good.
A little bit. Did I rush you? Felt like I
That was
rushed.
good. I liked it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Big Easy Bets podcast. I'm your host, Logan. With me in the studio, Nick Von Brick.
Yo.
This is episode 258. We are on to the national championship. The stage is set. The Michigan Wolverines taking on the Uconn Huskies. Hit that like and subscribe button if you don't mind. We're going to recap a Final Four that on paper looked like it was going to be one of the best ever and turned out to be relatively underwhelming. We're going to recap that, and then we'll give you our best bets for the national championship and try to figure out who's going to cut down the nets. We ran the Crescent City Classic yesterday. How are you feeling after that?
Okay, I guess. I mean, I didn't run as well as I wanted to, but it was hot.
Yeah, it was extremely hot, extremely humid. I'm sore as shit. I'm feeling it today for sure. Last year, if you remember, if you watched the show, we talked about the water let me rephrase. We talked about the trash cans that were filled with water, and they were serving people trash water, basically. And I have to imagine somebody was tasked with going to pick up coolers, and the day of the race was like, oh, shit, and forgot or something happened. So they just, on the fly, came up with the best thing that they could think of, which was garbage cans filled with water and that they're pouring with pitchers. And long story short, they got the coolers this year. We went out there, and there was your traditional like orange bucket cooler with a spigot. And so I can't help but feel like we played a role in that change. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely think someone heard us complaining about it.
Well, if you go look at that video, I posted the clip. It's got like 3 times as many shares as it does likes. People were clearly people did not like that video, but sent it to somebody they knew and were like, the word got around. I feel like.
Yeah, it's because other people noticed it too, and they were like, sending it to people they probably talked to it about.
Yeah, but it's like how many people, I can't imagine there was that many people talking about it on a show or something,
Yeah.
Or cared enough to mention it after the fact instead of just forgetting about it. But poor Bam threw up that day. He had the race of his life, and he was vomiting, and it wasn't because of nerves. It was because he drank water out of a hefty bag. So, but this year they righted their wrong, and so I feel like there's probably somebody out there who fucking hates our show, and remembers. But sometimes you gotta, if you want change, you gotta fucking complain about it on a podcast and hope somebody makes the necessary adjustments. So, yeah, the stage is set. I was a little underwhelmed by the Final Four, if I'm being honest. But sometimes they don't live up to the expectations. The main one, obviously, being Michigan, Arizona, the two clear-cut best two teams coming into the tournament. And Michigan just absolutely had their way with them. And the most glaring discrepancy was at the guard position in the backcourt. I don't understand what happened to Bradley and Burries, and I have to tip my cap to Elliot Cadeau. I've been extremely critical of Cadeau since his time at North Carolina. He played an incredible game, and you would go look at the box score, and he was fucking 2 for 14 from the floor. And I still felt like that's how good of a game he was playing, facilitating and defensively. He deserves a lot of credit there because shooting was a struggle. At one point, he was 2 for 14. He finished 5 for 17. He hit a couple threes there late. Can't really shoot for shit, but he had 10 assists, and they were some pretty good passes. He had a couple errant ones that he would just kind of throw 3 rows over the tallest guy on the court's head. So 10 assists, 6 turnovers, but he played a very good game. I felt like he outplayed the guards for Michigan outplayed the guards for Arizona, and that was the difference in this one. You go look at Jaden Bradley, who got in foul trouble fast. Jaden Bradley and Burries combined for 8 for 22. Burries was 2 for 10 from the 3-point line. Bradley didn't attempt one. That's the difference right there. You knew that coming in with the size that Michigan has. You knew they were going to be able to match up with an extremely big Arizona team as well. The guards for Arizona had to be the difference. They had to be the ones to edge out Michigan here, and they didn't. They did not play well. They didn't shoot it well. The only person who really showed up at all for Arizona, I would say, was Koa Pete, but everybody was getting into foul trouble. What are your thoughts? Any big takeaways? You were kind of more pro Michigan. Well, Arizona was both our bracket. But as it went on, you leaned a little more Michigan than I did.
Yeah, I mean, definitely expected a competitive game here, and we didn't get that. But, the biggest, or I guess, the most glaring difference was Michigan shot the ball really well, and Arizona didn't shoot it poorly from three-point range, but they're just not a high-volume shooting team from beyond the arc. And the other thing is Michigan had 22 assists to Arizona's 5.
Mm-hmm.
So Michigan was in sync the whole game from start to finish, and, the ball was just moving around their offense really well, getting open shots, getting to the rim. And, Arizona never just really figured it out.
Yeah, a lot of that is because, like I mentioned with Elliot Cadeau, he was making a lot of good passes, throwing it to the rim to Mara, and it is easy when you can. Mara's got so much length. You just throw it up anywhere around the rim, he's typically going to go get it. And another thing is that Michigan did it without Yaxel Lindenborg for the majority of this game. He got in foul trouble right off the bat. He comes back, rolls his ankle, and apparently hurts the knee as well. I thought for sure he was done. Then he comes back in the second half, and he, to his credit, hit a couple threes. Went 3 for 3 from the three-point line, but then they were up so big they pulled him out there late, or not even late, with a decent amount of time in the second half. I was shocked he came back at all, but right when he went out, you saw Arizona make a little bit of a push. They cut it to 6 or 7, and there was about 4-minute stretch there right before half, and you saw Michigan just kind of dominate that last little 4-minute stretch after the final media timeout, and there was no looking back from there. They had no answer for Mara. He had 26 points, 9 rebounds. It's just one of those. If they play 10 times, I think 7 of those, 8 of those are extremely, extremely competitive. This is one of those ones where it wasn't, and you can't really, like, it was unfortunate for Arizona that Bradley got in foul trouble that fast, but you look at Lindenborg, he got 2 fouls in the first minute and had to go sit right off the bat and then got hurt. So the better team won for sure. And we have secured, but we collectively secured the bracket challenge win. Yours was with the Michigan bracket. We nailed the Final Four. We had multiple looks at it going in, and that's why I said we were definitely the favorites. There was multiple people still in play, but with the brackets that we had alive, we had the 2 best teams available. So we, in a rare occurrence, your Michigan bracket won before the game is decided. You don't even have to pick the winner. Uconn could win, and your Michigan bracket will still win. Joseph texted me this morning because he's the only one with the Uconn bracket left that had a shot, and he was like, "Oh, I just realized Nick won." He's like, "What the fuck?" Like, he was probably really sweating out that Uconn game, and you feel like you just wasted that energy for nothing, or expended that energy for nothing, and he's probably like excited about the game on Monday. And then, because it's like you texted last night or this morning, whenever you said, and you were like, "Is it settled?" So yeah, it's very rare that you don't have to pick the winner, that the bracket's that much better than everybody else's, that they can pick the winner, get the 32 points, and it still doesn't matter. So, yeah,
the Michigan bracket I made, which I think somehow the one in the contest I switched around Arkansas and Wisconsin. But the one I originally made on ESPN is ranked like 788th.
Really?
So if Michigan wins, you're looking like top 500 bracket in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty fucking good. Yeah, no, I mean, to have your best possible is 171. I mean, nobody else is above like a 140. Nobody else is touching 150 or above. So, but yeah. So how does it feel? It's like getting a ring.
It's good. I mean, I got to give a lot of credit to you because I was high on UCLA and Louisville in the same quadrant as Uconn, and obviously both those teams' best players didn't play in the tournament. So for two of my brackets, I didn't have Uconn advancing far, and then that one I did. Mostly because when I was making that one, I was like, maybe I'm selling myself a little bit short on Uconn, and Uconn just sold me on that. And then the other one was Illinois-Houston, which was, I knew it was going to be a toss-up either way going in. So,
yeah, I mean, in the Midwest region, you got only one pick wrong, and it was the 8-9 matchup. In the East region, you've got only one pick wrong in the first round, and it was the 8-9 matchup, the first game of the tournament with TCU Ohio State. And then your only other incorrect pick in that one was that you had Louisville over Michigan State. And then you look at the other ones, it's not much. I mean, Florida, but nobody had Iowa. Very few people had Iowa over Florida. I won't say nobody. But the whole Final Four correct, all but one of the Elite Eight correct, I think. Or no, maybe.
yeah, because of Iowa.
Yes, correct. Yeah, it's probably, in all seriousness, it's probably one of the better brackets that has ever been. Well, I mean, if you look at, like you said, on ESPN, if you accidentally misclicked and put whoever between the Wisconsin-Arkansas game, and that's the difference between being 500 out of, or whatever, 700 out of, I don't know how many they do, but multiple millions. So, yeah, it's probably the best bracket that's ever been in this bracket challenge.
Yeah, if Michigan wins.
Yes. But it's
we
already
won
won.
regardless.
Yeah, it's already been, yeah. So yeah, but yeah, that's why it's like getting a ring. It's like getting a championship ring. It's hard to win a fucking bracket challenge of 150 fucking people. So but yeah, I mean, we did what we set out to do. That's what a guy commented on YouTube, very nice comment, and said, y'all, that we helped him win his bracket challenge at work, and he put in there that we deserve to blow up, which I wholeheartedly agree. And then he said, for now, we'll be like a secret betting weapon. But that's the goal. We sit here and we go through it all, and we give you what we think is going to happen, and we try to give you your best path to win the bracket challenge, and however many people it may be. And there's a good chance that if you listened, you probably did win, unless you were in ours, and then you lost. And this is the first year we've partnered up and collectively tried to find the best path between the brackets that we have to win. But I felt good about this year. I really did. I was talking with Lindsay about it. I remember before we did the breakdown and all of that, and the day the brackets came out, I told her, I was like, I'm going to win. Like, I feel confident, like, about everything that's gone on with the year. And I felt very good, I guess, about the pulse of each team. And, like, we were lower on Duke and Florida. Duke and Florida lost. We said it was Michigan, Arizona, the two clear-cut best teams. They're in the Final Four playing each other. So everything went according to plan. And all that, I had the memory popping up on from posting it like a couple years back when it was 25-1 on Uconn, 2023, I think. So it's been proven. If you listen to us for the March Madness bracket breakdown and for futures bets, et cetera, you're probably going to make money. You're up a good bit in the long run, and as is, and we're probably going to keep doing well in the future. So 5 years doing this, we've won the bracket challenge twice, got runner-up twice. What more can you ask for, I guess? But yeah, thank you to who left that comment. That was very nice. That is the goal, to make everybody money, unless you're competing against us, and I hope you lose. But all right, we'll get into it. One game left to close out the betting season, and it's the biggest one. You've got Danny Hurley and the Uconn Huskies back where they belong. And at this point, it's clear as day that Danny Hurley's the best coach in college basketball. At this point, I got to put him above Kelvin Sampson. And then Michigan, Dusty May. I mean, it's an extremely impressive run. Uconn has more of a Cinderella feel, although they are a 2 seed, but what they had to do against Duke to even make the Final Four was pretty improbable. It's tough. We talked about it last week. It becomes increasingly more difficult as the tournament goes on. Your best chances of making money, in my opinion, the best round is the round of 32, but you can find some good ones in the first round as well. Sometimes it can be a little bit more unpredictable there. But as you progress further and further into the tournament, it's going to become more and more difficult to find an edge on these numbers. You've got Michigan favored by 6.5 over Uconn. It opened around 7.5. Money came in on the Huskies, and now it looks like there may be a little bit of money coming back on the Wolverines. The total currently sits at 144.5. This opened, I think, 147.5. Money came in on the under. You can understand why. You've got Yaxel Lindeborg, who, in my opinion, I haven't seen anything on it yet, but I'm assuming that he's probably not going to go. It becomes much more difficult to go suit up that next day or two after you really hurt the ankle, and they're saying he also sprained his MCL in his knee. So they went back and iced him up and did God knows what to him in the locker room, and he was able to come back out and play. But if you were watching him, he was limping so bad. I was literally sitting there like, why is he in the game? I tweeted it out that it gave me Tyrese Halliburton vibes, where he tried to play through the calf injury, and then that calf injury became an Achilles tear, and you saw it on a national stage in the NBA Finals. So I was really kind of clutching my pearls there, hoping that nothing happened to Yaxel Lindeborg, especially when they were up 20+. I was okay, get this kid out of here before he really does something bad. But yeah, it's a tough one to. You've got Uconn. Solo Ball is apparently battling, I think, an ankle sprain and isn't practicing today. He hit some pretty big shots for them in their last game. Granted, he's struggled, I would say. I think that's fair to say throughout this season. But if you look, he hit, it was 3 of 7, but they were timely shots there when they needed them. Gave him 13 points. It's tough. Do you feel good about this game either way?
I kind of do, but I mean, you still know anything can happen. I was just looking back at the Michigan-Duke game, and Marr only had 10 points, but he had 4 personal fouls. He dealt with foul trouble the whole game. So I think if somehow Marr gets in foul trouble, then certainly UConn's going to have a chance to keep this game close. But if that doesn't happen, I don't know. We were talking about it a little bit before we started recording. The way Michigan shoots the ball is just they're a more consistent team from beyond the arc than Connecticut is. Mm-hmm. So I think it would take an off shooting night from Michigan and a really good shooting night from Connecticut here. On top of that, probably going to have Marr dealing with some foul trouble for Connecticut to have a chance to win.
Yeah, it does. It feels like all of the stars have to align for UConn to get home in this one, whereas with Michigan, it feels like you just have to not blow it. You have to not play a really bad game. The length that Michigan has, their ability to defend the perimeter and protect and kind of funnel everything to Mara down around the rim, it feels like an extremely tall task for UConn to handle. And I'm currently still sitting on the Uconn 100-1 ticket. I'm trying to figure out the best plan of action there to maximize profits. And I am always like, I've done it on this podcast a number of times. historically, the worst bet I've ever placed, I was on TCU against Georgia in the national championship. I believe in the underdogs, but time and time again, I have found myself going, as the underdog is down 30, going, of course they're fucking down 30. Like, sometimes you overthink it, and sometimes this feels like a team of destiny with Braylon Mullins hitting that shot and making that improbable comeback. But that Duke team was so centered around Boozer, and Danny Hurley made some incredible adjustments to make it to where they were going to take everybody else away, and they were going to roll the dice with Boozer going one-on-one, and they were putting the ball in his hands, and he was making a lot of critical turnovers, and that was the difference that allowed them to get back in the game, that among a few other things. But this Michigan team, when you've got Burnett and you've got other people hitting outside shots, and Morez Johnson doesn't get enough credit for what he's capable of doing, although he's kind of struggled throughout this tournament. And then the length with Mara, but then with Cadeau. If Cadeau's going to, like, you take Lindeborg out of the equation. If he doesn't play, I'm almost going through handicapping this game assuming that Lindeborg's not going to play. And if he does, great, but he's obviously not going to be anywhere near 100%. He's not going to be able to defend as well. He's not going to be able to attack the basket as well. If he comes in, he's going to be more of a spot-up shooter, and if not, a liability on defense. So you could see the way he was moving. It's not going to get any better. His mobility is not going to just suddenly get better. If anything, I think it would be worse a day or two later in terms of with stiffness, and who knows. Maybe he's different. Maybe they can do all kinds of treatment on him and get him good to go, but I would be shocked. So this is one of those. I think what I'm going to do, and the numbers come down, which makes me a little hesitant, but I think I'm going to go under 144.5 here. Michigan plays at an extreme pace. If UConn's going to have much chance, so they got to slow it down. The way that they want to play is they want to play through Terrace Reed down low. The size that Michigan has, I expect to give him a lot of trouble. Defensively, what Michigan's capable of doing, I expect an extremely tough night from UConn, especially if Solo Ball is not able to go. I've scratched my head a number of times throughout this year on why Solo Ball is struggling the way that he is. He'll either barely touch the net or he's completely missing the rim and like almost putting a crack in the backboard with how bad he's shooting the ball. So I just don't know where the consistent scoring for UConn comes against this Michigan defense. It's the number one defense in adjusted efficiency. So I'm not going out on a limb telling you that this is a good defense. I felt like UConn shot it better than they have all tournament against Illinois. And then it was a situation where Illinois missed a ton of open looks, but also missed a ton of layups at the rim that kind of just rolled around. There was a couple that sat on the rim, looked like it was going to get stuck a couple times. That's where I'm leaning with the total here, under 144.5, even with the pace that Michigan plays. I just think the size and their ability to defend the perimeter is too much. And Terrace Reed kept them in the game against Duke and played an unbelievable game. And his ability to pass the ball doesn't get enough credit as well. But I just feel like it's going to take, like what you said, Mara's going to have to pick up 2 early fouls. So it's like if you like UConn, maybe you fucking look at them in the first half and you just hope that Mara does get those early fouls and has to sit, and it becomes an easier go for Terrace Reed in the first half. But there's a very good chance that Reed picks up those fouls. Mm-hmm. Arizona had a shitload of size, and Mara had his way with them. So it's going to get easier against UConn. I will say UConn does an incredible job of moving off ball, and they really make you work, and they really make you're running around screens the entire set. So that's why, I mean, they play a much slower pace, and it's because they're doing things like that. They're running off-ball screens, cutting backdoor, and there's a ton of movement. So, but that size with Michigan is going to make their life a lot easier defensively. So that's the way I'm looking at it. Which way are you going?
I'm going to go Michigan -6.5, and it's a lot for what we just talked about. I really do. I think, Reed has played great in a tournament. He even played great last night. 17 points, 11 rebounds. He was 5 for 5 from the foul line. But I don't know how much success he's going to be able to have against Mar. Rebounding and scoring and defending Mar. It's like, I just think overall Mar's too big. And overall as a team, I think Michigan, they're just so long and they're so skilled too. So I don't know. I think it would take, either Mar getting in foul trouble early or Uconn having an incredible night shooting. So
yeah, I agree. I'll take Michigan as well. That's certainly the way I leaned, and it was a tough Final Four for me. 0 for 2. We were wrong on both fronts. You got home with the under, correct, in the Illinois and Uconn game. That was a good call. So, yeah, we'll go 2 more plays to try to close out what, win or lose, will be another extremely profitable season. If you look at this Michigan team, though, and this is why you hesitate to take an under, is the pace that they play, but they opened up against Howard, 101 points. Then they played St. Louis, 95. Alabama, 90. Tennessee, 95. Arizona, 91. This team has fucking put up 90 or more in every single game of the tournament. Defensively, though, somehow Howard has scored the most points on Michigan in this tournament. Held St. Louis to 72, Alabama to 77, Tennessee to 62, Arizona to 73. To get home with the under, we're going to have to hope that, the strength of this Uconn team is their defense, and they play slow. So you got to try to establish your pace of play. I don't think it'll matter in terms of the outcome, but that could be the difference that gets us there. Maybe first half under would be a smarter play, but we'll go full game, and hope we don't get burned by the foul game there. But that is our best bets for the national championship. I'm going to take Michigan minus 6.5 and the under 144.5.
And I'm just taking Michigan minus 6.5.
Okay, there you go. Short and sweet, as we expected it to be. Only one game left, and that will close out, I would argue, got to be our most profitable season that we've had since doing the show,
Yeah.
So it's one of those where you hope this isn't the fucking peak. You hope we keep going up, and I'm pretty confident that we will. But this has been an unbelievable betting season. When you look back on it, obviously with the contest, first and foremost, placing top 100 in the circa million. But I had the Seahawks ticket, whatever it was, 15-1. We had good futures bets coming into this season, into this tournament with college basketball, off the heels of, obviously in the NFL, 260% against the spread seasons collectively, or separately, sorry. And then this is another 60%, dropped a little bit after the Final Four, call it 57%, 58%, betting college basketball again. And then somehow we fucking find ourselves with 100-1 ticket on Uconn and a chance to possibly secure a 20-unit win. So we'll see. We'll see how it ends, how we close it out. And like I said, hopefully there's bigger and better things on the horizon. But I guess in theory, we'll be back in like fucking 2 days to do the Masters, because the best golf tournament in the entire year is right around the way. But then in terms of football, we'll be back breaking down the NFL draft in a couple weeks, and then we're going to go dark for probably a month or two, and then we'll start doing our conference and division breakdowns, and we'll do it all over again and try to have another good year. But that will do it for episode 258. Do you have anything to say before we go?
Nope.
Hit the like and subscribe button if you don't mind. Like that guy said, we deserve to blow up, and I think he's on to something. And I think one day we'll be sitting, we'll be reminiscing on this season, but we'll get there. Hit the like and subscribe button if you don't mind. Good luck.
The house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house.
I've been practicing this good.
A little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I
No, it
rushed
was good. I liked it.